Presented by Prize Picks. Get $50 instantly when you play your first $5 and you use the promo code. Welcome one and all to Light Years. Andy Lou, it is the hot stove season. I was always envious MLB gets to call their offseason the hot stove. Why do we not call the NBA offseason the hot stove?
NBA offseason is the best offseason also. MLB offseason sucks. The NBA, they should rename the NBA offseason.
It's kind of, it used to be cooler. It used to be cooler. They're living off the brand reputation a decade ago. Yeah.
Wait, so why is it actually called hot stove? What does hot stove actually mean? Like, what is hot stove? How does that imply like trade? I'm missing something. You probably know. I'm missing something for sure. But it's weird, odd.
I mean, it evokes the image. This is per ChatGPT, to be clear.
Okay.
The term
I thought you knew. Actually knew.
It's one of those terms I've said my whole life, and I honestly haven't thought about. Like, you know how there's certain expressions you just say, and you don't necessarily think about where it comes from. So, hot stove. The term evokes the image of fans gathering around a hot stove during the winter months to discuss baseball. Honestly, pretty accurate for basketball. We're sitting around a hot stove just dying for morsels from Shams. Tell us someone's coming. Tell us someone's coming. Someone in the chat goes, it's the white version of cooking with fish grease. Not bad. And so, I actually think it's an accurate way to kind of describe where we're at, because remember the old days of 7 years ago, maybe 5 years ago, where free agency didn't really start until like July 1st, and there was a whole formal process and you waited a few days. Now it's just kind of like the minute the finals ends, shit's going down. And not even before the finals ends. It's just like, it's action. It's action season. Maybe it's trades, maybe it's free agency, maybe it's rumors, whatever it is. But like, there's no more like, oh, no one's talking until July 1st. It's like, nah, this shit's on right now.
Traded KD, who's like one of the best players in NBA history, on the day of Game 7. They don't care anymore, baby. It's more important to the league is trade. I'm kidding. Not doing that. But it is genuinely exciting. It gives me a little hit every single day. Like Shams is giving us. I think Porzingis like got traded yesterday, but Shams is like, no. We gotta spread this out. I'm giving you.
Think he's that big of a puppet master?
Yeah, maybe not. Maybe Woj. So who's tomorrow that like we're gonna trade? Like Zion's gonna get traded, but we're gonna wait. We're gonna wait till Thursday for Zion to get traded. You know what I mean? Like he's just holding stuff back to keep giving us the juice. I love it. I think it's great. I think it's entertaining. We need it. We need the Warriors to do something though. That's really what we need.
Really I know, right? So like I feel like we're probably going to be doing these on a pretty consistent basis, at least until the free agency period ends. And you guys expect it from us. We'll be live tomorrow night after the draft, even though the Warriors don't have a first round pick. Mostly I'm expecting something that's relevant to the Warriors.
Maybe not. Maybe not. I don't know.
As of recording time, they do not have a first round pick. But what I was gonna say is I have two takes on free agency to this day, because there's been a few moves. The big moves have been KD to the Rockets.
Yep.
And then Jordan Poole for CJ McCollum, which is hilarious. And then the Celtics selling off Drew Holiday and Porzingis this morning, right? Or this afternoon.
Yep.
And it looks like Celtics go into it. And I have a couple takes on this, but I want to get my first one off, which is the Jordan Poole, CJ McCollum take, and the Drew Holiday take, which is, I think people have assumptions. Certain players have values. Actually, let me rephrase this. Every NBA team is run by the type of nerds who run MLB front offices. That's my take. That's my take right now. And that's a fancy way of saying just because you have a dude who scores 20 points doesn't mean people are going to give you 50 picks for him. And the best example of that is like Anthony Simons. That dude is a bucket getter. dude is he's an outright scorer, and they traded him and picks to get Drew, who is an analytic darling, a significantly better winning player, but with a terrible contract at this stage of his career. He's 35. You got to pay him till he's 38. On the other side, you see someone like Jordan Poole, who's an incredibly gifted scorer. This is now the second time he's essentially got dumped for an expiring contract, where the team trading him is just like, we just got to get out of this money. We got to get out of this money right now. And both of those, to me, signify kind of the climate, which is people have these assumptions that because a guy can score the ball, he has an inherent amount of trade value. And the reality is teams are operating with an actual understanding of what matters, in my opinion. Not every team, but the league in general is operating that way. I'm just saying, like 10 years ago, I could see these guys being overvalued because they have scoring instincts. And now everyone's like, dude, this is a $30 million sixth man.
I feel like MLB is 20 years ahead of the NBA if this is what they're going down this path, which is, I think I agree with you.
Probably.
I think it's good for the NBA, bad for baseball, because baseball, I think you're as in deep, if not more, with me in baseball. But like one of the things you hear about the Red Sox is like they're so analytically like locked in that they don't care about things.
Like you go too far to anytime you go too far to one extreme. You know what I'm saying?
I know,
but like
I know it's like American.
But your point stands.
NBA is getting to the point where they're you're right. Like these, like it used to be a like Andrew Wiggins was a guy that we're just gonna pay money to because he could get buckets. Who cares if he shoots 40% from the field? We don't give a shit. He's gonna go average 20 points. So I'm with you there. I was gonna ask.
Talent is talent, whatever. You know?
Yeah. And I guess I didn't even finish the Red Sox, but it's like these guys don't know how to play. Like they don't know how to play defense. They don't know how to run the base pass, like stuff like that. Where it's like, as a Giants fan, I'm kind of like, oh, that's kind of cool because Giants, Buster comes and says they need to learn how to play all this defense stuff. For basketball, though, what you're really saying is like, I to bring it to the Warriors, like I wouldn't have minded Anthony Simons, but you know who wouldn't want Anthony Simons on the Warriors? It's pretty clear. Their head coach. The head coach does not value. No. You don't think so? You disagree? You think Steve Kerr would be in on Simons?
I think it's a mix. I think he'd be like, oh, I'd love him to come off the bench for me. You know what I mean? Like kind of like a disrespectful, like I'd love him playing 18 minutes a game for me. Like that.
Yeah, that's actually
the same point that you're making.
That's actually very true. Like, hey, I'll take him. And then Simon's like, dude, I'm getting paid $20 million. I'm not freaking playing 20 minutes a game, right? It's kind of so. I think, I guess, like, do you think this is a good thing? Like, do you think? I thought you were going to do the second apron take, Sam. So maybe that's your second take. But with the first take, like, is it? This is
very clear. My second take.
I don't know. And also, like, impact.
I think it's
Kuminga. There's so many ways to take it.
I think I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. It's just me noticing, observing, because someone like Drew Holiday is, he's never going to be able to score the ball as effortlessly as someone like Anthony Simons. And he's 35 years old. You know what I'm saying? And he's getting paid a fuck ton of money for the next 3 years. And he's still the more valuable trade chip here. Why? It's very simple to me. Anthony Simons, you're not good enough to be a first option on a real team.
Yep, that's right.
Drew Holiday, I know you're good enough to play the role you want to play on a good team. It's all about slotting. Like I actually think we're in an NBA where fit matters more than anything, And it comes and like there's no way to have this conversation without bringing it back to the inevitable Kuminga bullshit, which is the issue with Kuminga is not talent. The issue with Kuminga is he sees himself as something that the league does not see him as.
Yep.
That his head coach doesn't see him as. And his head coach has a lot of credibility around the league. They all see him as a nice, slashing, do everything, wing, third or fourth option, which is a nice career, by the way. It's a very nice career. It's a $300 to $500 million career in the modern NBA. And he sees himself as a guy who takes 30 shots in 2004. Like, he wants to be Antoine Jameson. You know what I'm saying? Well, he wants to be just a guy who just shoots the ball and does nothing else. And maybe that's an unfair way to frame the whole thing, but like, that is the reason why he's in the situation he's in. He doesn't have an extension. There aren't teams like breaking down the Warriors' door to get him right now.
Well, how about
it's a comment on where the NBA is right now, which is like, you're not Kawhi, you're not Kevin Durant, but you're not willing to be Aaron Gordon. So what are you? You sound like you're a player who's going to average 20 points on a 19-63 team.
I think Jalen Green is probably another one that's pretty clear. Like the Houston Rockets could not wait to get rid of him. Could not wait. And the reason why the trade is panned, I think if you're a Phoenix Suns fan, because Jalen Green is not good at basketball. You know what he's good at? Similar to what like these other guys like Anthony Simons is good at. He gonna shoot and he gonna score and he gonna shoot it at 40%, maybe less, maybe 25%. On a good day, he'll shoot it maybe 45%. He'll make 4 threes. That's a good day. Nobody gives a shit about that player anymore. I think you're right. Back to your first point, like nobody gives a shit about that player because unless you're a player that can score 25, 26 points, or
you're not Kyrie Irving, bro. You know, like you're not like you can't do it against whatever defense, right? Like, I'm not even comparing with Steph. I'm just gonna say guys who are actually that good, you know.
Or even like I was gonna say, or even Jordan Poole, but he got freaking traded today because he's kind of like that player. He's just better. Like I think of like Jalen Williams is probably like too big to be a guard, but like Jalen Williams plays really good defense. And it's like if Jalen Green decided to just be good at defense, I think a lot of this is you just got to decide to be good. You can't just be good on offense, but you can decide to be good on defense. If Jalen Green could just wanted to do that, he'd still be on the Rockets. They'd probably trade Tari Eason instead or some shit. Like they did not want to trade Jabari Smith. Jabari Smith can't dribble. He takes more than 2 dribbles. It's over. All he can do is just shoot threes in the corner. But guess what? But guess what? The Rockets want that guy. They want Jabari Smith, who can just stand in the corner and shoot threes, and he can rebound a little bit. He can block some shots, right? That guy's more valuable than Jalen Green, who's just a fucking chucker. No idea what he's doing. So I don't want to do the Kuminga thing, Sam. Maybe we'll do it later. But it's all the same. It's all the same thing to what you're saying. Now you got me riled up. I love that take. Now I'm amped up. It's true. It's true.
And so I want to talk Celtics in a minute because I think they're the most interesting thing going on. You know, the first 3 days of free agency, but now I've backdoored my way into this conversation. That's why I kind of like. I don't know where he's going to end up contract-wise, but I'm calling bullshit on him having any leverage. Any leverage. Only one team has cap space, and that's the Brooklyn Nets, and they don't want him. As of right now, they don't want him. So I'm just sitting here and I'm going like, what leverage do you have, dude? No one's breaking down the door for you, which is why I think all of the Warriors free agency will end up coming back to where do they land with him? Do they end up at a number that's palatable that they can make a sign and trade or they're comfortable with? Or is this going to be a prolonged thing that kind of tanks their entire offseason?
Oh.
But isn't it really that simple? Because it's like, if he's willing to commit to a number that's palatable, either the Warriors bring him back and they feel good about it, or other teams are like, you know what, I'm willing to see if we can be, if maybe Steve was too harsh on him, we can be the ones who develop him, that sort of thing, right? But if this turns into a long conversation about how he feels like he's a max player and all sorts, like it's just going to turn into a 3-week waste of your and my time, and it's going to absolutely murder their chances to improve the roster, for lack of a better way to put it.
I agree. I'll throw you another Jalen Green comparison. He was, I believe, the first player ever to sign like an MLB type, like a 2-year And then the third year, I think, is a player option.
The Scott Boras opt out every year.
The Scott Boras opt out. So like I've never seen that before. I don't think in the NBA. So he signed that for 3 years, and it was for $100 million. So I mean, it's 30-some million. Like that's like I feel like Kuminga would sign that, and I feel like another team might be more palatable to do that because they're not locking themselves into Kuminga for more than however many years. It really is just 3 years. Maybe you turn that third year into a team option. I don't know, but he's young enough to where you can just do an opt-out play, or he can just go back on the market a couple years from now when he's like, okay, I'm going to go somewhere and play 30 minutes. Except that might be the Jalen Green comps are kind of funny because it's like they kind of have the same rough fit with the team. And then now he's going to get traded away and he's going to send this weird contract. Anyway, you got a video up on our guy, Mikey. What's he got for us?
Where are you at with Kuminga and his restricted free agency, and how do you hope that situation plays out?
Yeah, so we can start with the finals ending last night. We can start, pursuing that right now, leading up into free agency, and I think we're in a good spot with it. Honestly, we have the ability to bring him back. He's restricted, and I think there'll be good dialogue, and I'd like to figure something out sooner than later. That'd be great, but I also acknowledge with restricted free agency, these things can drag out a little bit and take some time. But I think we feel pretty comfortable with who JK is as a player and what he can do for our organization. And, we'll continue, it's a main priority going into free agency.
What would be the benefits of getting something done sooner than later? Like, why do you want that to happen?
Yeah, I mean, I think just clarity, right? Roster clarity in terms of what else we need to add in free agency. Also what we have to spend in terms of minimums, exceptions, those different types of things. So I think that's the sooner the better for everyone, his sake too, I would say, I would believe. But, like I said, restricted free agency can be a little different. So.
Mike. He says he feels good about where they're at right now. Do you buy him?
I do. So when I saw this, I was like, oh, like, I mean, I feel like everything's, one or the other with this guy, but especially with what happened with Jordan Poole, like, well, we like him, gone next day. So I do think, like, I have a feeling, and this is based on nothing. I believe him when I say, like, he wants to get this done quickly. Now, what he wants is different from what's going to happen, but it feels like to me they've known about this for so long. They've thought about trading Kuminga for so long that I don't think it's like going to be a surprise that it's like, okay, he doesn't want this contract, or it's going to be a surprise, like which team wants him. Like it's kind of clear. I think there are like 2 to 3 teams that really want him. It's been reported a bajillion times. Not really want him, but like are interested in him. I think all those dominoes are out there, Sam. Like I don't see this stretching for that long, but again, that's me wish casting perhaps, because we really need this to end, brother. We really need this to end. We really do. What do you think?
It does feel like he understands the leverage he has. They don't have this offer sitting out there. And I think it's just going to be one of those things where they end up eventually aligning on numbers, because I think Jonathan wants to go to another team.
Yeah.
Actually, I feel very confident in saying he wants to go to another team. And you know what? I'm okay. He should want to go to another team, right? Like, that's fine. But it only happens if they agree on a number, and then we can start looking at what the trade options are. Yep. It's kind of holding up the whole summer. Like, that's the whole thing, And it doesn't need to be a public thing, but it does. It is kind of like the first thing that they need to operate with.
I wonder if, they need to agree on a number. Let's go. Let's go. It's time to go. Come on,
guys. You need to agree on a number, and that number is getting your obesity down. You guys know our friends over at Body Spec. They're the best. Best way to start your fitness journey is honestly being honest with yourself about where you are physically. I'm trolling, Yeah, I gained a couple lbs recently. So's Andy. I've seen him. It doesn't look great. The best way to get yourself back into shape is to take an honest scan of where your body is. And, it's 2025. Standing on the scale and being like, oh, I weigh 201 pounds. It doesn't mean anything, 201 for one man is great shape. 201 for another man is obesity, right? Like it's not the same thing. So you want to get DEXA scan, which is a highly accurate method of measuring your body's composition, body fat percentage, lean muscle mass, visceral fat, the fat around your organs, all the stuff that like pro athletes do that like really tell you how in shape you are. And traditionally that's been super expensive. That's been the type of thing that like you and I as average guys, we can't do. I can't go out there and get $1,000 scan on my body. Like it's not reasonable use of my funds. But what Body Spec has done is for only $45 with the code LightYears45, you can get DEXA scan, get all your results, and start your fitness journey. $45, dude, that's like 2 coffees given today's inflation rates. Like that's nothing, right? $45 with the code LightYears45, get a DEXA scan, start your fitness journey. Not only do they have locations on the Embarcadero, in the marina, where Andy and I are frequently, but they also have mobile vans that will come to you anywhere in the Bay Area. They have mobile vans that will come to you in Southern California. They have locations in Chicago and Austin. I don't know how many Light Years listeners we have out there, but the point is they have mobile vans that will come to you. Everything set up, go ahead, use that code LightYears45, start your fitness journey, bodyspec.com.
Light Years podcast. We are brought to you by Lucy. My guys at Lucy's. 100% pure nicotine, always tobacco free. Lucy breakers are nicotine pouches with an extra surprise. Each pouch holds a capsule that can be broken open to release extra flavor and hydration. Set yourself up with the subscription. Have Lucy delivered straight to your door. Yeah, too many couple too many beers. You got a stressful day. Big meeting coming up, need something to relax. That's where Lucy's come in, baby. My favorite flavor, I got it right in front of me. We got berry citrus. You know what I'm saying? Got a little purple. Open this baby up. There's 16 capsule pouches inside. Easy. Just pop them in anytime. Put it under your lip. Nobody even notice. Level up your nicotine routine with Lucy. Go to lucy.co/lightyears and use promo code lightyears to get 20% off your first order. Lucy has a 30-day refund policy if you change your mind. Again, that's lucy.co and use code LightYears to get 20% off. And here comes the fine print. Lucy products are only for adults of legal age and every order is age verified. Warning, this product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical.
Oh, all right. Let's get to the Celtics because I think it's the most interesting thing in free agency right now. The Drew Holiday thing we talked about. Porzingis gets traded to the Hawks today. I'm not going to lie to you, Andy. I didn't really want Porzingis because I'm not convinced he can ever stay healthy. But then I started hearing talks about the Warriors going in for him. And I started lying to myself. So I'm like, Celebrini can fix him. This is what we need. And then when the Hawks get him, I'm like, fuck. Now I'm mad. That's where I was at. That was where I was at with the entire
We got
thing.
I don't know if you were sleeping. I was dead asleep, but we got a text last night, right? You and I did, both kind of like, hey, Porzingis, talks are heating up. I woke up in the middle of the night and I looked at my phone and same as you. I was like, I mean, I wasn't a fan of Porzingis, maybe a little more than you, but I saw the text and I was like, I mean, 7 foot shoot. I mean, he's a real shooter. Can rebound. I mean, look, SF
threes and blocks. Let's get it, brother. Yeah.
We got UCSF, Mark Benioff, UCSF. We got Joe Lacob. We got Rick Celebrini. Like, don't worry. We got way better medical situation out here. We'll get him back going. And I'm with you, man. I ended up at the gym when the thing happened, when the news broke or something. I forget when it broke. And I just want the Warriors to do something. It would have been nice if it was Porzingis. I don't know what the trade would have been. I'm sure they were talking to him. Doesn't seem like the Celtics got much. Do you agree? I don't know. It was weird. It was
just cap relief.
Yeah. It's all they wanted.
Yeah, I mean, like to Mike Weisberg in the chat, I definitely like the idea of Porzingis. The idea of Porzingis is the ideal player to put next to Jimmy and Draymond. Someone who can both play the center on defense, so Draymond's back is not, shredded grilled cheese, because he has to play center all game, every game. but also someone who could space the floor so Jimmy can operate in the paint because that's where he's best. Like there's not a lot of those stretch five guys. And when he's right, he's one of the better ones in the league. So I talked myself into that. I decided to ignore the fact that he has like long COVID or whatever illness he has now. And in general, he's just always a walking physical liability, all that I decided to ignore. But when they didn't get him, I'm just kind of, what's next? What is next? Can I ask you a question? What do you think of the Celtics doing this? What is clearly a big teardown?
Well, I think the teardown makes sense because Porzingis was unreliable. Even when they won the championship, he was unreliable.
Yeah, but Drew's not unreliable.
So I was gonna get to that. So I think the Drew one is the weird one, where that one just feels like he's not as good anymore, but that one was one where it's just like, Anthony Simons, for real, there's no fucking way that you guys spent their whole championship run building around like these good two-way guys, and all of a sudden you're gonna get Anthony Simons. No fucking way. Like I doubt that he's gonna be there for more than a year. So that was odd. Sam, what really is gonna blow my mind though here is we're hearing all about the next moves that might happen. So I think these moves, Porzingis being gone, no surprise. Drew Holiday, kind of weird. Maybe they want a little more offense. But what will really be interesting is if they go actual full teardown, which is getting rid of everyone else outside of Tatum, which is Derek White and Jaylen Brown. I think that was actually going to happen, but apparently those are real conversations being had. So that's where I think this part makes sense. Like they're out of the second apron, whatever. But the next part, are you really going to trade Derek White? You really going to trade Jaylen Brown? Like those are your guys, man. Then we're talking about some weird new ownership. You know a lot more about that than me. Like, is it the new ownership? Is it the second? What is going on? If those guys are gone, then we have a real problem.
To me, it seems like the pragmatic move with the Tatum injury it sucks. I don't know what else to say. And so the smart move is to get money off the books, reload, and see where you're at when he comes back. But just as a fan, I think it sucks. I think it sucks that the second apron incentivizes this type of behavior. That's kind of where I'm at with it. And I'm not saying what they're doing is dumb or wrong. Honestly, if it was my team, I'd probably advise them to do the same thing. But I said this to Tommy on the last pod, and I hadn't actually seen the video clip. One of the most touching things I've seen in sports the last God knows how long was the Pacers walking off the floor and Reggie Miller standing there in a jersey embracing the guys. It sucks. We've all I remember the last football game I played in high school and how distraught I was. Oh, and it's I sucked, it doesn't matter. Right. But you remember that feeling, it's like a Friday Night Lights thing. Right. And that sort of, you leave it all out on the floor and it sucks to lose, and you probably lose because only one team wins. That's life. Right. That sort of thing. And so the Pacers walking off the floor, the image of TJ McConnell crying, who honestly played well beyond his capabilities, right? He maxed. That was the professional version of Matt Saracen is what I said, it sucks to see these moments that you build towards that mean everything to you as a fan, that mean everything to you as a community. And now it's just kind of oh, we lost. Now we got to tear this down and none of it matters. And everything is just a venture, blah, blah, blah. And that sort of thing. And I like that sort of stuff, but it's I'd be remiss if I wasn't saying man, it just feels soulless. It feels soulless. The Celtics finally won a title. And they did everything right to build a title team. And now it's just all right, we got an injury, got to tear everything down. Kind of sucks. It's not I don't think it's good for ball. I don't think it's good for the brand. I don't think it's good for the NBA. I think you want to you want to be able to like buy into your team and not have every player be a quote unquote like irreplaceable or like a trade chip, an
Well,
asset, whatever you want to call it.
This is the baseball argument. Like this is like what happened in Boston. I mean, thank God, good for me. But like that's where it's like there are a lot of people arguing, a lot of executives that are like, man, like it's probably better for us to get rid of this guy. We have a lot of good young prospects. And guess what? When Roman Anthony wins them a championship 8 years from now, he'll be gone too. He will be gone too when he's 29 years old and he wants $300 million, $500 million, or $600 or $1 billion by then. Who knows? And he'll be gone. And that's how baseball works. And so it's a little different for basketball where it's like a second apron. There's no such thing as that in baseball. But at the same time,
it's the same concept.
Exactly.
The same thing.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's the part where it's like growing up, like who was your favorite football player or baseball player? Like we had very clear guys that we loved. And I'm hoping that like, is Steph going to be the last person that we're going to see in a Warriors uniform for a long time? I don't know. I don't actually know what the Warriors, we'll find out when Steph retires. Like, I don't know how they're going to operate. Feels like hopefully not like that, but they might have no choice. Like that second name, but they just might not have any choice. The blame probably isn't the GMs going for it, right? The blame is probably the owners and whoever negotiated the
mechanism. It's the CBA. Sorry.
They wanted it, right? These guys wanted it, and that's probably the problem. That is the problem. So yeah, man, I think that's maybe the test becomes like what happens with OKC, and OKC is going to pay these guys out coming here, but it's like 2-3 years from now, like is Chet Holmgren going to be on the Thunder? Like if Chet Holmgren for some reason isn't on the Thunder, then we got a problem because Chet Holmgren is like 22 years old. And in 2-3 years, he could be 25, not even his prime. And for some reason, if they're going to have to get rid of him for whatever reason, then I think, Sam, we have like that's truly a problem.
It just sucks.
I don't know.
It just sucks. It's like there's not really any other way to put it. It makes it harder for you to invest in people.
I agree. Unless you get like a Disneyland story like the Indiana Pacers. And we don't even know what the Pacers are going to look like next year. Like, what if Miles Turner isn't going to come back? So, all right, let's get to some other Warriors stuff, Warriors focus stuff after this read. We've got Factor, Lightyear's podcast. We are brought to you by Factor. When was the last time you had a meal that was both healthy and delicious, made you feel good? Have you ever had that feeling when taking a supplement? Now you can do that with Factor Form. Most of us dread drinking greens, but Factor Form changed the game. You'll actually crave your greens. As the sister brand to Factor Meals, Factor Form was designed to work hand in hand with your meals, making better nutrition effortless. That Daily Greens is a greens powder by Factor Form you'll look forward to drinking. Just one scoop delivers 100% of your daily nutrition, filling nutrient gaps, supporting whole body health, and helping you feel your best. All right, this is near and dear to me because I don't like eating vegetables. I know a lot of people like me that don't like eating vegetables. So what I do is I literally get the Factor Form Daily Greens. It's made from real vegetables. It's packed with a whole serving of kale and spinach, which I can't do. Doesn't taste like it, right? But you just put that in, mix it up, easy money. You drink it. There you go. In a blind taste test, Daily Greens ranked number 1 in taste, texture, and aroma, beating out the biggest names in the industry. Within days, you'll feel a difference, more energy, less bloat, sharper focus, all the stuff that you need to be doing that you'll feel it when you're eating vegetables without actually having to do it, which is a dream for me. So start your day right with Daily Greens by Factor Form at factor75.com/lightyears to get 40% off plus free shipping on your first order. That's factor75.com/lightyears for 40% off plus free shipping. Factor75.com/lightyears. There you go.
Oh, speaking of the Pacers, by the way, like it's like, do they tear it down? Is Miles Turner available to the Warriors now? Like I don't know. Like we'll see how this plays out. I meant to ask you this. For me, I feel very strongly. I think they need to stretch 5 more than anything. Like if you said to me, what is the one thing you want the Warriors to get in free agency? Like not all the things, but what's the one thing you feel strongly about? For me, it's a stretch 5. I don't know how you feel.
what if the
A
stretch
stretch,
five?
by the way, to be clear, a stretch 5 who is not Quentin Post, like theoretically can do more to stay on the floor than Quentin Post.
You would rather have Brooke Lopez on a taxpayer mid level than like getting Kobe White.
Yes.
Okay.
I think if you do not get a guy that Steve trusts to stretch the floor, but also do enough defensively or to stay out there, he's going to eventually play Draymond at 50 minutes a game. You know what I'm saying? And I don't want that. I want them to have a team that allows Draymond to not have to play the 5 for 30 plus minutes a game, because the reality is Jimmy's been phenomenal for this team, but he doesn't shoot the ball. Draymond doesn't shoot the ball. They need a center who can shoot the ball to make those guys work. So, for
Kelly
me,
Olynyk,
it matters the most. But
Kelly Olynyk's going to be the stretch 5. You know that, right? This is where it's heading. And the comments just do it out as I was saying it. It's where it's going. He just got traded. Who knows? I don't know. Maybe gets bought out. Whatever it is. Maybe gets rerouted. I can just see that as a player.
Bobby Portis, like, let's get it, baby.
Yeah. Olynyk's better defensive. I think I'd rather have Olynyk. I agree with you. You've got me. I think I've waffled on it. I think I was really, really all in on just them having like a real ball handling score. So I was just tired of watching this team, because in the regular season, to me, like what I would like is for this team to survive 82 games of Steph and Jimmy where they don't die on the court, where Steph doesn't have to be doubled every single freaking play. And someone like a Jordan Clarkson or a Colin Sexton, I saw those guys' names are on the market, or a Kobe White. Warriors fans love him. Like these guys who can just basically the Jordan Poole of 2022, where Steph just doesn't have to freaking kill himself every single night. If you were to ask me, would I have one or the other? I don't know. You might be right. I might rather have Olynyk or Naz Reid or who did you just freaking say? I don't forget who you just said. Bobby Portis. Right. Yeah, Bobby Portis.
Legend.
So I don't know, Sam, but they have to find a way to make it through 82 games. I just don't know how they can get through 82 games without having a true microwave guy score. Is that Pods? Right? Maybe not, but it's like, to your point, it's like, I don't really want to rely on Quentin Post. It's kind of the same thing with Pods. Pods is a much better player, but it's like, I don't want to rely on him on being the 18-point microwave scorer. Like, it's just hard. So, can they do both? Yes, they probably can. And they should. I'm sure they're trying. I'm going to disagree with you and just go with the microwave score just because, you know.
They need both. Bad, right? I mean, the lame answer is they need both. You know, like, yeah, they do need both. But we're going to leave it there. All right, we got a couple questions here. I want to get to these before you get out here, okay?
Okay.
If you could only pick up a return on a veteran minimum, Looney or GP2? And for what it's worth, I think both are back on vet mins. But
my God. Are they?
Steve getting his bench guys. But it's a fun question.
I think I prefer Looney just because, you know, I don't know if they can get a big. It just
he washes his hands.
I mean, he's available. That is fucking true. He plays. When they play GP2, they're so small. I know he plays big and all that shit, but it's like they end up with like 2 or 3 guards or like 4 guards, and he's one of the guards / wing / big. It's like, and then he, like you just said, he plays like 35 games a season. Just give me Looney because I just know he'll be there and he'll just be solid whenever he plays, and I'll live with them having that type of big guy. You know what I mean? I'm good with Loon. Give me Loon.
I do have a soft spot for Loon. If I'm given the choice one or the other, I can't go against Loon. Can't do it. Favorite under the radar roster fillers. Curious your take on LaRavia, Daron Sharp, Kevin Knox. Can't quit him. Grayson. I don't know. You got dunked on Lou. We got a guy.
I can't believe, like, what is Grayson? I mean, I assume he means Grayson Allen, but I love that he just like put in Grayson just first name only. Like,
I kind of feel like an asshole for not knowing who he means, to be honest.
Like, is there another Grayson?
I was like, am I
in
out
the
of the
NBA that we
weeds?
don't know?
Do I not know? Do I not know anymore? Am I washed?
Seriously.
I might be washed.
Not so much a fan of Day'Ron Sharpe. I got a feeling that he's a younger guy, and I don't really think he can play defense like in a way that Steve Kerr is going to love him. It just feels like he's going to get benched, buried on the bench. Kevin Knox, like I loved him last year. Like I could see him being on the team again, but we watched him. I mean, Grayson Allen's the best player, so it's like, yeah, you would rather have him, but for the purpose of this exercise, like let's just take him out of it because he's actually an NBA player. These other three guys really are. Jake LaRavia is like not bad, Sam. He's not a bad player. I think he's by far the best. He's better than Day'Ron Sharpe, and he's better than Kevin Knox because he's actually shot the ball well in the NBA. He's a plus 3-point shooter. He's long, lengthy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if he has like any off the dribble game or stuff like that, but like I do think like he's a player that I think could get some minutes. Like he's better than Kevin Knox, and Kevin Knox was probably like kind of close to playing regular season minutes. I could actually see Jake LaRavia playing 10 to 15 minutes a game. He's not bad.
I have an answer that's going to make you very mad. Ben Simmons.
You disgust me.
They need dudes for the regular season. He ain't getting more than the veteran minimum. Who's better
we just
than?
talked about scoring. We just talked about scoring.
I'm not looking at that from the veteran minimum. I'm looking at that from other positions on the roster. But I'm trying to find guys who can be under the radar, useful for this team. I'm buying him. I'm buying him as a Draymond backup. I think there's potential there. I'm gonna regret this, to be honest.
Yeah.
With you. It's not my favorite move, but he's asking me to go outside the box. And the second one outside the box, obviously Braxton Key, Taron Armstrong, one of these G League guys. I actually think that's probably the Warriors' best option at one of these. I didn't see this coming, and now he's giving us 12 good minutes here and there, right? I think that's a more likely scenario.
Yeah, I'm not going to get into the I like Braxton Key. I thought he was a pretty good defender. But yeah, I'm not going to act like I was watching G League games. I'm not going to act like I was watching him. Taron Armstrong apparently can handle the rock a little bit. So I don't know.
All right. Question from our guy, Nick. Would you want Derek White on this squad? I mean, yes. But also, what are the Giants? Also, Giants questions. What to do with Justin Verlander?
I'm ignoring that one. The Derek White stuff. So maybe this is a good way to kind of run through this. What would you think would be like a realistic offer that the Warriors would have to send over for the Celtics to pick up the phone? It's just, hey, Kirk.
3 firsts.
Yeah.
I think so the difference between him and Porzingis is he's legitimately an excellent winning player today. Porzingis, we all have questions if he can stay healthy. I can't see the Warriors meeting this price, but I really think he's 30 years old. So like in theory, it's not as old, but like that's also, you're getting him for his prime. He's probably got another 4 years of his prime here. I can't see a world in which he doesn't get like 3 first or some sort of like Godfather, like sweet prospect and 1 to 2 first type of thing. In other words, I don't think it's happening, dude. How's that for my answer? I think this gets back to my point. The league understands he's like 5 times more valuable than Anthony Simons. Maybe a decade ago, you might have been able to steal him because the league didn't value what he did as much as what they valued Anthony Simons. It is what it is. Go find the next Derek White. Come on, Mike.
I think dude, I'm an idiot. I thought I was talking and what's going on? I freaking muted myself. I at some point the NBA is going to overrate these guys. That point is not today. Like Mikal Bridges, even though they traded a bunch of ones for him, was still pretty good. Like
Or maybe you're right. Maybe they are overrating them. Maybe like paying 4 firsts for Derek White's a bad idea.
Maybe. I know the Warriors wouldn't do that. How about that?
That's what I'm saying.
How about that? How about we end the show there? How about we know the Warriors wouldn't do it? We know the Warriors don't have the best trade package. There you go. All right. Oh,
I feel very confident in saying Derek White will not be on the Warriors this week.
No, he won't.
All right, from our girl Ebony, one last question. If you get one player back from 2022 championship, which would you choose? Two ways to take this. Am I taking them? Am I magically transporting the 2022 version of them, or am I taking the current version of them?
No,
because it's not the same. It's not the same answer.
You get the 2022 version of them, Sam. Easily, you get the 2022 version of them.
2022 Steph. Yes, that's a good answer.
You
put 2022 Steph next to 2022 25 Steph. I like it.
I'd probably go Wiggins. I think it's pretty easy. It's a high volume, high minutes, two-way defender. Broke out in the playoffs. I mean, it's just. Come on. He was playing 40 minutes a game. So,
I think I'm going to go Poole, but I might go Otto. Honestly, any of those three next to Jimmy, Draymond, and Steph is awesome. So pick your poison in terms of that one. Like all three of their games fit seamlessly around the quote unquote core three of the Warriors.
You can't pick three guys. You got to pick one guy.
No, I'm saying any of those three would work. I'll probably go Otto because that's what I'm mythically obsessed with right now, which is a
stretch five. I was just gonna say that's perfect. By the way, like
I might as well.
Saw a tweet. Guy was like, oh, stretch five. Every team has had a stretch five in the past 5 years, and Nemanja Bjelica was their stretch five. I'm like, no, he wasn't, dude. It's Otto Porter. Otto Porter was their stretch five. Clay in the comments. Yeah, I mean, I didn't even think about that. Of course, like part of like what the issue with this team was, like just nobody wanted to guard anybody other than Steph. So it's like at least Clay would get guarded. So yeah, 2022 version of Clay was, and now that I think about it, like that version was really good. And he hasn't been that guy since. But yeah, well, too bad for Clay. He's kind of getting lost in the picture there in Dallas, huh? Just kind of not really sure what's going on with Clay there, but
he might play point guard next year.
He re-signed Kyrie. Oh wait, he tore his thing. Yeah, you're right. He might. Oh, Flag might play point guard. Who knows? Maybe they'll trade the pick tomorrow. I don't know.
That's why the NBA hasn't released the summer league schedule. They're like, I can't trust Nico. I can't put Dallas. I can't put Dallas front and center, only for him to trade the pick. And now Cooper Flag is playing in the small gym. Yeah,
Cooper Flag.
Can't trust him. So
Cooper Flag.
I'm excited.
Let's go.
I was gonna say we will be back tomorrow after the first round. Appreciate everyone who's listening. We'll be here all week.
Much love.